listeners, I'm so happy to be back today. We've got some fun news and some sad news, but we are going to take a break for the summer. And I know that I love my summertime, and I'm sure all of you love your summertime too. But we just wanted to come on and say thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being here with us. We've had a lot of guests on this season, this first season of Unmuted, and we're just so excited to come back for our second season after this summertime. So, Deb, take it away.
Yeah, we just want to let everybody know that we'll be coming back in September. We are so excited to have you guys join us again. And I just want to remind everybody out there that go and look at our past episodes, especially I'm going to mention two. One is with Andrea Donsky, who just came out with the #1 book on Amazon Canada and #3 on Amazon USA. And in Canada, she's been top rated with her book. It's called Nourishing Menopause. Check it out. Check out our podcast with her. And the second one is Susan Branton. My God, that's all I have to say. And she was our last guest. And boy, does she give us some great insight for the ladies. So check it out. Amanda?
I think we all had orgasms listening to Susan.
Right. I think we realized we did have a libido, right?
We did.
Yeah.
And when we really think about it, we've actually been doing this podcast for almost a year. I think we started last September.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of really great episodes. And
you know what I said to Amanda yesterday, and I'm going to share with everybody, is that, we were considering maybe not moving forward with this podcast because I let listeners know, you have to understand that this podcast is a lot of work. A lot of editing, getting guests, putting this all together, getting all four of us. Lisa's not with us, unfortunately, today, but she will be continuing on with us for our podcast. Getting all of us together is a lot of work. So we just want to make sure, is this something? And I said, yes. You know why I want to continue doing this? A, because I love providing this information to our listeners. And B, which is really important to me, is I love working with you, Serena, with Amanda and Lisa. And I can't be without you in my life. And I think that we have so much to offer, insight to share with our listeners. We've been at shows. We work with women. We know that this is so desperately needed. So I am so grateful that we decided to continue on, and it will just be the four of us. So again, Serena, who is our host, myself, Amanda, and Lisa.
Yeah. And we're just getting started. I actually feel like we are just now getting into the groove of being able to have chats with each other and just be really chill. And we all know each other personally, but sometimes it's hard to translate your personal into something everybody else is listening to without thinking you always have to be so friggin' professional about it. But you know what? This is Unmuted. This is what it's all about. We're supposed to be telling our stories. And I think we're all starting to loosen up a little bit too. So the listeners I think you guys are going to have something really fun to look forward to in September.
And I want to share with the listeners too that what we're going to do is we're going to come out with 2 episodes a month. And so one episode will just be the four of us talking about our own personal experiences, getting nitty-gritty, getting right into it and being vulnerable. And then also being able to share maybe hot topics. Amanda's got a lot of stuff going on. She'll share in a bit. But, we're really going to get into that. And then the other time we'll be bringing a guest on. So let us know through our social media handle, Unmuted, through anywhere on YouTube, what you'd like to see on topics, what you'd like to hear, and what guests you'd like for us to have on. And we're here to make that happen. So please let us know. Just communicate through those channels and we'll do our very best to make it happen. But I am going to say that we are going to get vulnerable. We are going to get real. And that's why we're changing our name to, instead of Unmuted Midlife Roundtable, we are going to go with Women Unmuted, Real Talk, Real Life, and Real Woman. Because we want to make this for all women. We don't want to just look at midlife. We want to provide this to all women because we really truly believe that every woman needs to understand certain things in their 30s and even in their 20s and their 40s onto the podcast to talk about these things.
Having people with different experiences is just so wild to me to listen to. Like, I've been on podcasts now where I'm either hosted or I have like a co-guest there that's younger than I am, talking about the experience they have in dating and the experiences they have in sex and the experiences they're having in their bodies and relationships and communications. And I'm just thinking to myself, my God, if I had any of the insights sometimes that some people have these days in the dating world when I was 20, I would have been unstoppable. I would have been a man eater. Are you kidding me? If I knew then what I know now, and I knew what was in place for the dating rules, quote rules, and how all the women, God, I love it. All these young women, they were like, I am the prize. Like, I don't chase. I'm like, are you joking? The script that was given to me was, you better be the prettiest. You better be the best. You better compete against all of these other women or they're going to choose somebody else. The ladies are like, sir, you are competing against my peace right now. So it makes me so happy
I
listening
know.
to people.
No, and that's what we have to do. I mean, I'm just listening to the book right now, Menopause Brain. And it's really interesting because she talks about the 3 Ps, right? So puberty, pregnancy, and perimenopause.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm kind of like, you know what? That's what I want to bring here. Puberty, pregnancy, and perimenopause, right? Great topics, great things, and it hits every age, right? So, and I want to bring confidence. I want to build women's confidence because I know me, I didn't have that and I'm still struggling with it. So I want to be able to do that with our group, bringing our guests on.
I agree. Amanda, what about you? Are you going to bring us some confidence this summer? This
I
girl
hope
just
so.
exudes
And I
it.
hope
She's
I
just
don't
like,
like,
I'm just killing it at life. Whatever.
I mean, yeah, I'm just kind of going with the flow right now because like there's so much going on. I'm looking forward to season 2 because I think,
Oh my God,
like
we
what
got
you
we have
said,
so many fun things.
yeah, I think you're right when you say like we as a team here are just getting comfortable having the uncomfortable conversations with each other. So like, I think in season 2, I know even for myself, like I've learned so much from you guys and just from some of the conversations we've had with guests coming on the show and like, the dating rules have changed. The midlife rules have changed and I'm looking forward to just reaching out to, even women who are, I mean, my world is mostly menopause, but, to even start reaching out to the 30 somethings, that need to be a little prepared about midlife, maybe. I don't, whatever. Because I'm starting to see that even, 30 something year olds are attending workshops and like asking questions, and I'm getting, things in my DMs from people who are not quite there yet, but they're like, okay, like I need to know this information like now, right? So I think,
Yeah. And
I
I mean,
think
that's what we want, right?
Yeah, that's what we want to bring, right? Amanda, as you said, you specialize in menopause, but I think and Serena is, sexologist, and I think that bringing guests on that can maybe, dig into some of these other topics that maybe we're not well educated in or knowledgeable in, but they are, and bringing that to our audience to do
I
that
could
is
have
key.
really used
Yeah.
Serena
I think,
last night at my workshop. Just saying.
ooh.
I was I
Well, I
was
thought
doing
you
a
were going
workshop
somewhere else
last
with that.
night.
I was like, girl, I'm there.
No, well, hang on. I was doing a workshop last night and someone decided to be really vulnerable and actually like we were talking about, menopause and sexual health and all of that. And someone decided like to be really vulnerable and start asking some really vulnerable questions about sex at age 50. And it turns out that this person actually had just became sexually active for the first time at 50. And she was worried that is what I'm feeling, or is this dumbed down? Like she was asking some questions where I immediately in my head went to, where is Serena? Where is she?
You should just
this is
call
not
me
my
anytime.
this is not my like this is not my jam.
Girl, you got my phone number. Put me on speakerphone.
But
I
I
don't care.
tried
Call
I
me anytime,
tried
day or night.
to, I tried to answer it as best as I could. Like as far as like the body changes and stuff at that age, but at the same time it's like, wow, like I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, wow, maybe I mean, is she really feeling what like I said to her, it's really hard when you don't have anything to compare it to, right? Like for most women at that age,
She's feeling
we
exactly what she's supposed to be feeling, right?
Right.
And
And
that's
I
the thing,
hope
like we can't keep.
that's what I hope I kind of put out there for her, right? It was like, what would Serena say? It was one of
What
those
would
moments,
Serena
like, what
do?
would Serena say?
I
Right.
love it.
You know,
I love it.
so I was
Love it.
like,
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
hope I gave her like decent enough advice that she still is enjoying what she's doing and like not feeling like she's missed out or, yeah.
Well, and you know what? I'm glad you mentioned it because I want to put it out there. I mean, you guys know that, I didn't have my orgasm until 53. So I want to make it clear. Like, you can have sex, right? You can have sex. That's great. But and I didn't know that until I had my first orgasm, changes everything sexually. That changes everything. Like, I got to be honest with you guys, before then, before I had my orgasm, I was like, do I have to do this? Like, it's not enjoyable. I did it for him, right? And it wasn't enjoyable for me until I started having orgasms. So, you know what? I know not, and I want to put it out there. I know not every woman can have orgasms. So I respect it and I appreciate it because I thought I was one of those. So, and I got to be honest with you, I found my man to help me do that.
Yeah.
And it was
I
feeling
mean, we
safe
can
and
have
being really good.
the orgasms are so important for some people, but there are going to be some people who, for whatever reason, why they're medically or just their anatomy and the way that things are working for them, that maybe they're not going to have an orgasm, but that doesn't mean we can't have the most pleasure-filled experiences doing other things. And this is the conversation that we like to have in midlife, is redefining what sex is in midlife, that it doesn't even have to be what you consider sex at all. A makeout session or a feather on your back or like a little tickle on your bum cheeks, whatever makes you feel sensational. And I mean that word literally, like sensations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
kind of get into your body when it comes to that and be able to be present in those moments rather than rushing through them as another task or a chore that we're supposed to do or an end goal. So we take the orgasm off the table completely so many times, especially in midlife, but with any clients that come into me and they're having, it doesn't even have to be a challenge. Their challenge is to redefine what it looks like in their world. So we take sex or we take orgasm off the table completely and we just say, how can you make your partner feel the best while you feeling the best at the same time? Have a peak experience together completely differently than anything you've ever experienced in your life or been told. So now we're curious, right? Now we start to be curious about, well, what does my ear feel like? And, I remember back in the day when my partner used to kiss my neck and it'd give me these little chills and tingles, and let's do a little bit more of that. And so you just start redefining what the ultimate, quote, ultimate pleasure is for you.
And Serena, you mentioned that, and it's funny because I just heard Esther Perel. She was on an Oprah podcast, and she was talking about, people don't have the time as much to have intimacy and so forth. So based on that, she said it's not even so much that, it's touch. We cannot lose touch. You know what I mean? That is so important. If anything, and you can't have this, now, then just touch each other some way, somehow, as you just mentioned, right? That is so, so important. And as Susan Breton said too, right? Susan comes back to it and just sort of says, take off the table, both of you, about having those orgasms.
Yeah. Gone.
Just start somewhere and just touch and communicate and everything else. And that's really key.
Yeah. Yeah. Just feeling sensation in your body. It could be food sensation. It could be smells. It could be touch on your skin. It could be playing with your hair. It could be anything at all. And, I'll listen to me. I'll challenge Esther Perel, but not really. But when we talk about people not having time, what we really talk about is where we put our focus. And nowadays, what ends up happening is that we're so desensitized to our phones and our screens and the things that we're doing and being productive and just being in this go, go, go mindset all the time that we don't create the space for it. We have the time, but we just need to be present in the moments rather than multitasking so many
And
things, because that's what our brains have.
sometimes in midlife too. I mean, yeah, our lives are busy, but we also have to consider that, for especially for women, sensations have changed. So like it
Yeah.
is going to take a little bit more time to get there, right? It's going to take a little bit more time. The foreplay needs to happen, right? So like you can't just be wham bam, thank you ma'am, for most women anymore,
Right, and
right?
the
Like
thing is,
you need to be warmed
people
up a
will
little
come
bit
in
more
to
now.
Amanda. Yeah, and people will come into you, and people will schedule in their doctor's appointments, and they'll schedule in their fitness appointments, and they'll schedule in their menopause specialist appointments. But we're still fighting. I'm still fighting for people to schedule in their intimacy. And it doesn't have to be scheduling penetrative sex or orgasm. It's just schedule in your intimacy. And you say every Wednesday night or every Thursday afternoon or every second, I don't care what it is, whenever it is, block it off in your calendar. You do that for everything else that's important in your life. We still have this ridiculous mindset that your intimacy is just supposed to happen naturally. And if it doesn't, that means something is broken. No. And especially if you're feeling a little like in midlife and maybe the sensations are different and maybe, your estrogen is not allowing you the capacity to want to go forward with your partner sometimes. Scheduling it in, blocking it off, and then putting your phones away and putting everything else aside just to sit next to each other and hold each other's hands or give each other a hug or do a 6-second kiss or a 30-second hug or a little bit of eye gazing or a little back rub that stays a back rub and doesn't have to turn into anything else. Every back rub I had turned into a friggin' youngster. They're all out there. So
Well, you see, this is the reason we can't wait to get back
yeah,
in September so that we can get into this juicy stuff. You know what I mean? And I think really, Serena, as you talk about, and Amanda, is really helping people learn how to connect again.
exactly.
You know what I mean? No matter what stage they are. Because just before we end, I just want to mention this is that I just learned, and maybe Serena, you already knew this, and I think we had a conversation yesterday on the call, is that I'm discovering that people in their 20s, the younger generation, are not having intimacy. They're not having sex. And they're not.
Well, I don't know. Tell
It's
that to my
becoming a sex.
18-year-old who just told me she lost her virginity.
Bravo! Sexual debut. That's what we call it. We don't call it virginity anymore. Sexual
Is that
debut.
what that's called now? Sexual debut?
Yeah. Virginity is
My
a construct. It
goodness.
doesn't exist. It's just your sexual debut. It's
Well, I
when
like that she told her mom.
yeah.
Well, I do have
That's
that
pretty cool.
relationship with my daughters that I just, like
That's
keep the
great.
communication open, right? So, yeah, she
Yeah,
did tell me. So I was happy to have the conversation with her and and I'm glad that she used protection and whatever. And we went to the doctor and got her all the things. And yeah, I mean,
good
she's gonna be
mom. Good
19.
mom.
So just be safe about it.
Yeah,
It's an exciting time.
yeah.
It's an exciting time to learn about your body and to do those things and to know that, you've raised a daughter who's comfortable enough to come to you with that. So she's going to be comfortable enough to come to you with a lot of things. And that means she's got quite a great head on her shoulders and she's going to be able to
Yeah.
use that discernment. And, sometimes we don't. And sometimes we have stories that we tell people of like, oh, I can't believe I did that. And we all have those
Yeah.
too. But she's
Yeah.
got a really strong
Her
foundation to come
stepdad
home
was
to.
more
And those,
horrified than I was, but you know,
oh, of course they are.
The man, come on, yeah,
All the
yeah. I mean,
men.
yeah.
nothing against that. I'm just saying, yeah, I can appreciate that. So, so Serena, let's wrap this up and tell everybody how excited we are when we come
Yeah,
back.
we are. We're so excited to come back as Women Unmuted. Real talk, real life, real women. We cannot wait to have you guys back. We're going to have our 2 episodes a month, one with a guest, one with us just yarning, just having a laugh and having a really good time. But make sure you go back on our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you find your podcasts. Listen to our old episodes, share them with your friends, get yourself really excited for what's about to come in our new season, and make sure you give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.